Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the quirky, bizarre, and downright fascinating superstitions of celebrities dead and alive. You won't believe what some of your favorite icons do for luck, or to keep bad vibes away. Let's dive in. Beyoncé's connection to the number 4 runs deeper than a simple superstition. It's woven into her identity, her milestones, and even her artistry. She often talks about how the number seems to follow her at life-defining moments, almost as if it's guiding her path. From her birthday, on September 4th, to the powerful symbolism she feels whenever the number appears, Beyoncé treats it like a quiet guardian that's always been there. Her bond with the number only strengthened when she and Jay-Z realized they both shared this same fascination. Their worlds aligned through the number. Jay-Z was born on December 4th, she on September 4th, and together they chose April 4th, that's 4-4, as their wedding date. It became a shared language of love and fate. Something deeply personal that anchored their relationship through the chaos of fame and constant scrutiny. Beyoncé took it even further by naming one of her most intimate albums 4, a project she described as a return to her roots, her truth, and the things that matter most to her. To her, the number isn't just lucky, it's a reminder of stability, alignment, and destiny. And for fans, it's almost become a symbol of her inner world, a small window into the personal mythology that shapes the Queen herself.
Jay-Z's connection to the number 4 runs far deeper than a lucky charm. It's a thread woven through his life, his love, and his legacy. He's openly said he's obsessed with the number, believing it brings him balance, protection, and creative alignment. The number appears everywhere. His birthday on December 4th, Beyoncé's birthday on September 4th, and even the fact that they started dating on the 4th. To Jay-Z, the universe speaks in patterns, and 4 has always been his loudest message. That belief became undeniably public when he and Beyoncé chose to get married on April 4th. 4-4, a date loaded with symbolic meaning. They even tattooed the Roman numeral 4 on their ring fingers as a permanent reminder. Behind closed doors, Jay-Z uses the number as a quiet guide. If a major decision lands on the 4th, he takes it as a positive sign. If a track list has 4 essential songs grouped together, he sees it as cosmic harmony. To him, 4 is more than coincidence. It's confirmation. In the whirlwind world of fame, deals, and global expectations, Jay-Z treats the number 4 like a compass. It keeps him centered in the chaos, reminding him of the moments and people that shaped him. Whether he's selecting release dates, arranging album symbolism, or honoring milestones in his marriage, the number becomes a grounding force. For Jay-Z, 4 isn't just a superstition, it's a personal myth, a lucky rhythm, and a piece of destiny he carries proudly.
Kylie Jenner is known for her sharp business instincts, but behind the scenes she leans on something a little more mystical: horoscopes. Before any major product drop or brand announcement, Kylie takes a moment to check the stars, believing they can offer insight into timing, energy, and overall vibes. It's her quiet ritual, a way to feel aligned before stepping into the spotlight with a new launch. Her belief isn't about predicting the future in a dramatic way, but more about tapping into a sense of cosmic rhythm. Kylie often talks about how important timing is in business, and checking her horoscope gives her a feeling of confidence and clarity. It's like a personal green light from the universe, reassuring her that the energy around her move is right. Over time, this little superstition has become part of her brand-building flow. Whether she's releasing a new lip kit or expanding Kylie Cosmetics into a fresh category, she likes to feel that the stars are on her side. For her, it's not just business, it's intuition meeting astrology, helping shape the empire she's built.
Kim Kardashian may live a life of luxury, but there's one thing she absolutely refuses to wear, and that's pearls. Years ago, she had this small but unforgettable accident while wearing a pearl necklace. The clasp just snapped, pearls scattered everywhere, and she nearly tripped. The whole moment really left her shaken, and ever since then, she's sworn them off completely. For Kim, it's not just about avoiding another mishap. It actually became a superstition for her. She believes pearls bring her bad luck, bad energy, or just, bad vibes, as she's joked before. Even her stylists know not to bring anything pearl-covered to fittings, because Kim just won't go near them. Instead, she sticks to diamonds and bold pieces that she feels safe and empowered in. For someone whose life is so meticulously curated, this quirky superstition just fits right in. A small memory that turned into a lifelong rule, shaping the kind of glamour she chooses to wear today.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Khloé Kardashian is all about keeping her space calm, clean, and full of good energy. And for her, sage is the secret weapon. Whenever she moves into a new home or feels the atmosphere getting heavy, Khloé lights a bundle of sage and slowly walks through every room, letting the smoke drift into corners and hallways. It's her go-to ritual for clearing out negativity. She's talked often about how much she believes in the power of resetting a space, especially after stressful moments or big life changes. For Khloé, sage isn't just a trend, it's a tradition. She feels it helps break up lingering tension, restores balance, and brings in a fresh sense of peace. Whether she's settling into a new house or just needing a spiritual cleanup, Khloé reaches for sage like others reach for air freshener. To her, it's more than a scent. It's a way to protect her home, shift her mindset, and welcome better days.
Kourtney Kardashian is rarely seen without her collection of healing crystals, a quiet ritual she's woven into her everyday life. Whether she's heading to a meeting, traveling, or filming, she keeps a few of her favorites tucked in her bag, usually rose quartz for love, amethyst for calm, or clear quartz for clarity. For Kourtney, crystals aren't just pretty stones, they're tools for balance. She believes each one holds a unique energy that can shift her mood, protect her space, or help her stay grounded when things get chaotic. It's her way of keeping a little spiritual support close, no matter where she goes. From her wellness routines to her lifestyle brand, crystals show up everywhere in her world. Carrying them daily has become her personal ritual, a soft, steady reminder to stay aligned, centered, and connected to good energy.
So, Kendall Jenner has one superstition she never breaks. She refuses to walk under ladders on set. It doesn't matter if it's a photo shoot, runway prep, or even just a behind-the-scenes moment. If there's a ladder in her path, she'll walk the long way around without a second thought. For Kendall, it's not really about drama, it's about energy. She believes avoiding ladders keeps bad luck away and helps maintain a smooth, focused environment during work. In an industry where timing, mood, and momentum matter, she sticks to the small rituals that make her feel grounded. This simple habit has become part of her routine, a quiet superstition woven into the fast-paced world of fashion and cameras. One glance at a ladder, and Kendall's taking the safer and luckier route every time.
So Kris Jenner is famously obsessed with repeating numbers, especially 1111, a moment she treats like a small daily ritual of luck and intention. Whenever she spots repeating digits on the clock, she doesn't just smile at the coincidence. She pauses, makes a wish, or, takes it as a sign that something good is aligning in her world. For Kris, these numbers are more than just patterns. They're symbols of synchronicity, little cosmic nudges that reassure her she's on the right path. Whether she's planning a business move, guiding her family, or launching a new venture, those repeating numbers act like subtle confirmations from the universe. This superstition has become a quiet thread in her routine, a blend of intuition and comfort. When 1111 appears, Kris doesn't ignore it. She embraces it, believing that even in the chaos of her high-powered life, the universe still speaks through numbers.
Paris Hilton has long believed that 1111 is her personal wish hour, a magical moment she treats almost like a daily ritual. Whenever she notices the digits line up, she stops, takes a breath, and makes a wish, a tradition she's followed for years. To her, it's not just a cute habit, it's a sign of alignment, luck, and manifestation. This superstition has really become woven into her lifestyle, symbolizing positivity and intention setting. Whether she's traveling, working, or filming, Paris never misses the chance to catch 1111 and silently send a hope out into the universe. In a world full of glitz, cameras, and non-stop chaos, that simple moment of wishing keeps her grounded. For Paris Hilton, 1111 isn't just a time on the clock, it's a spark of magic she carries with her every day.
Nicole Richie is known for her bold style, but behind the glamour she carries a quiet superstition, a small locket she believes brings her good luck. It's something she's kept close for years, a tiny charm tucked into her bag, or worn discreetly, no matter where she goes. For Nicole, the locket isn't just jewelry, it's a reminder of protection, comfort, and a little bit of magic. She touches it before big decisions, important meetings, or high-pressure moments, almost like a grounding ritual. In the whirlwind of fashion shows, filming, and business ventures, that simple locket stays with her, a steady source of confidence in a world that never stops moving. Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it. Martha Stewart may be the queen of flawless organization and picture-perfect living, but even she has a superstition she won't shake: never start a new project on a Friday. To her, Fridays carry an unlucky energy, a momentum she believes can derail productivity, disrupt planning, or simply invite complications. In Martha's world of meticulous schedules and high standards, timing matters just as much as execution. She prefers to begin projects earlier in the week, when the energy feels fresh and smooth, or wait until Monday when everything feels reset and aligned. It's a small belief, but one that quietly shapes her workflow, and in a life built on precision and perfect outcomes, Martha's Friday superstition is her way of keeping chaos and bad luck firmly at the door.
You know, Simon Cowell may project an image of unshakable confidence, but even he relies on a quiet superstition behind the scenes. He always wears the same belt for auditions. To him, it's more than just an accessory. It's a ritual, honestly, a small piece of consistency in a world filled with unpredictable talent and high-pressure decisions. That belt has become part of his private routine, something he reaches for automatically before stepping into the audition room. It's a way of grounding himself, a familiar touchpoint that sets the tone for the day, almost like flipping a mental switch into judge mode. In the chaos of long audition lines, surprising performances, and career-making moments, that simple belt stays with him as a symbol of control and good luck. For Simon, it's proof that even the toughest critics have their own little charms to keep everything in line.
Howard Stern, known for his sharp wit and unfiltered honesty, has a surprisingly sentimental superstition. He carries marbles for luck. It's an unusual charm, but one that he's kept with him for years, tucked into a pocket or bag like a quiet secret. For Howard, these marbles aren't just trinkets. They're small anchors of comfort in a world of bright lights and constant scrutiny. He often jokes about them, but they reflect something real beneath the humor. A belief that even the most confident public figures sometimes need a little extra assurance. The marbles serve as a reminder of grounding, balance, and a bit of playful nostalgia, a simple ritual that brings him clarity before stepping into high-pressure broadcasts or major interviews. In a career built on unpredictability, controversy, and raw honesty, those marbles stay with him as a subtle charm against chaos. For Howard Stern, luck can come in many shapes, even in something as humble as a handful of marbles.
Ellen Pompeo, known for her calm presence and, her iconic role on Grey's Anatomy, carries a heartfelt superstition with her everywhere she goes. A charm bracelet gifted by a fan. It's not flashy or extravagant, but to Ellen, it means more than any designer accessory ever could. The bracelet has become a quiet ritual of comfort. She slips it on before long filming days, emotional scenes, or big public appearances, feeling a sense of connection to the people who've supported her throughout her career. It's a reminder that her work reaches hearts, that someone out there cared enough to pass on a symbol of luck and gratitude. In the fast-paced, high-pressure world of television, that simple fan-given charm grounds her. For Ellen Pompeo, it's not just jewelry. It's a personal talisman, a touch of good fortune, and a sentimental link to the loyalty that built her career.
Patrick Dempsey, the actor forever remembered as McDreamy, has a quiet superstition that follows him everywhere. He's obsessed with the number 33. It's a number he sees as lucky, protective, and, strangely aligned with the big moments in his life. Whether he's preparing for a new role, stepping onto a racetrack, or making a major decision, Patrick pays attention to when and where the number appears. For him, 33 isn't just a preference, it's a comforting pattern, a sign that he's on the right path. He's been known to choose race numbers, hotel rooms, or small details based on it, trusting that the presence of 33 brings balance and good energy. In a world where schedules shift constantly and unpredictability is the norm, that number offers him a sense of control. What makes this superstition so endearing is how quietly he carries it. It's not a loud ritual, but a private guideline he follows with genuine belief. For Patrick Dempsey, 33 is more than a digit. It's a lucky companion woven through the rhythm of his life.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Sandra Bullock has built a career on grace, charm, and impeccable timing. But behind that calm confidence is a simple superstition she swears by. She always keeps a lucky turquoise stone with her. To Sandra, the stone isn't just pretty, it's protective. Turquoise has long been associated with strength, clarity, and safe travel, and she leans into that symbolism whenever life gets chaotic. She often tucks the stone into a pocket, a bag, or even the palm of her hand before big moments, premieres, high-pressure scenes, long flights, or major decisions. It's her way of carrying a little piece in a world full of cameras, expectations, and constant movement. What makes this superstition so distinctly Sandra is how quietly she holds on to it. No fanfare, no big statements, just a small stone that reminds her to breathe, stay grounded, and trust her path. For her, turquoise isn't just luck, it's comfort in her pocket.
Anne Hathaway, known for her elegance and composure on and off the screen, has one superstition she follows without exception. She refuses to wear opals, believing they bring bad luck. While many gemstones are tied to myths and meanings, opals carry a long-standing law of misfortune, and Anne has fully embraced that tradition. Even when stylists suggest them for red carpets or photo shoots, she politely declines, choosing other stones that feel safer and more positive. For her, it's not dramatic or fearful, it's simply a boundary she trusts, a way to avoid any hint of negative energy before stepping into the spotlight. In the whirlwind of Hollywood glamour and high-stakes appearances, this superstition gives her a sense of control. Anne's opal avoidance might seem small, but to her, it's a subtle shield against bad vibes, a quiet promise of good luck in a world where confidence is everything.
You know, Natalie Portman has this quiet, elegant superstition that really fits with her grounded personality. She always wears her lucky star necklace. It's a delicate piece she keeps close during major moments in her life. Film premieres, award ceremonies, intense shooting days, or even those stressful decisions. To Natalie, the necklace isn't just some accessory, it's a symbol of guidance, inspiration, and, well, a reminder to stay true to herself. The star charm has really become her personal talisman, something that brings her a sense of calm and focus, especially when the pressures of fame start to weigh in. She often finds herself touching it unconsciously, before stepping on set or walking onto a red carpet, just like a small ritual that centers her thoughts. In the fast-moving world of Hollywood, where roles, expectations, and schedules shift constantly, that simple necklace gives her a quiet sense of protection. For Natalie Portman, the lucky star isn't just jewelry. It's a piece of comfort she carries through every chapter of her journey.
Scarlett Johansson may be one of Hollywood's most versatile actresses, but behind her powerhouse performances lies a surprisingly simple superstition. She eats chicken before every audition. It's a ritual she started early in her career, long before the fame, and it stuck with her as a comforting, familiar routine. For Scarlett, that pre-audition chicken isn't about the meal itself. It's about grounding. Auditions can be nerve-wracking, unpredictable, and intense, so having one small, consistent ritual helps her settle into the right headspace. It's a way to calm the nerves, create a sense of normality, and walk into the room feeling steady and prepared. Over the years, the tradition has become a quirky part of her process, a private good luck charm disguised as comfort food. Whether she's up for an indie drama or a blockbuster role, Scarlett keeps the ritual alive. For her, that little plate of chicken is a reminder that even the biggest stars rely on small habits to feel confident before taking the leap.
Gal Gadot carries a piece of home and, a bit of luck everywhere she goes with a charm bracelet from Israel. It's a deeply personal superstition, one that connects her to her roots, her family, and the place that shaped her long before Hollywood came calling. Each charm on the bracelet holds meaning, from symbols of protection to reminders of strength and heritage. Before major roles, world tours, or high-pressure interviews, Gal often reaches for the bracelet, feeling its familiar weight as a quiet grounding ritual. It gives her a sense of balance, especially when she's far from home or stepping into a demanding scene. To her, it's more than jewelry. It's reassurance wrapped around her wrist. In the whirlwind of international fame, the bracelet stays with her as a small, steady anchor. For Gal Gadot, that charm bracelet isn't just lucky. It's a reminder of who she is, where she came from, and the strength she carries into every role. Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it. So Drew Barrymore carries a deeply personal superstition with her wherever she goes, a photo of her grandfather, actor John Barrymore, which she treats as a protective talisman. In an industry that's been part of her life since childhood, the photo serves as a constant reminder of her roots and the family legacy that shaped her journey. Before big moments, premieres, interviews, or emotional scenes, Drew keeps the photo close, believing it offers guidance and reassurance. It's a quiet way for her to feel supported, especially during times of pressure or uncertainty. For Drew, the talisman isn't about look alone, it's about connection. That small photograph grounds her, links her past to her present, and gives her strength as she continues carving her own path in Hollywood.
Hugh Grant has a superstition that's as quietly charming as his screen persona. He wears the same pair of shoes to auditions. Early in his career, he landed roles while wearing them, and over time they became linked in his mind with success, confidence, and good fortune. Before stepping into an audition room, Hugh slips on those familiar shoes as a way to steady his nerves. The routine gives him a sense of continuity and control, especially in an environment that's famously unpredictable and, nerve-wracking. In a career built on timing, luck, and opportunity, those shoes have become his personal good luck charm. For Hugh Grant, it's proof that sometimes the smallest habits carry the greatest reassurance.
So, Winona Ryder has one of the most personal and heartfelt superstitions of all. She actually carries a small lock of hair from her dog for protection. To Winona, it's really a symbol of loyalty, comfort, and unconditional love. Something grounding in a world that, honestly, often feels intense and unpredictable. She keeps it tucked away discreetly, especially during travel, filming, or whenever things get stressful. The charm isn't about glamour or show, it's just about emotional safety. Having something tied to her dog gives her a sense of calm and reassurance wherever she goes. In an industry filled with pressure and scrutiny, this superstition keeps Winona connected to something pure and familiar. For her, that tiny keepsake isn't strange. It's a protective reminder of love she trusts completely.
So, Sean Penn is known for his intensity and conviction, and honestly, that even extends to his superstitions. One belief he sticks to pretty firmly is that Tuesdays are, unlucky days to start filming. Whenever possible, he avoids beginning a project on a Tuesday because he's convinced it sets the wrong tone and, invites unnecessary complications. For Sean, timing is everything. He believes the energy surrounding the first day of filming can really shape the entire production, and starting on a day he distrusts just feels like tempting fate. Choosing another day gives him this sense of alignment and confidence before he fully commits to a role. In an industry full of uncertainty, this superstition actually offers him a bit of control. By steering clear of Tuesdays, Sean Penn feels like he's protecting the project and himself from bad luck, which lets creativity take over without any unwanted interference.
So, Jodie Foster follows one of the oldest superstitions in the theater world. She just refuses to say the word Macbeth inside a theater. Among actors, the play is often called the Scottish play, since, many believe speaking its name aloud brings bad luck, accidents, or even technical disasters. Jodie takes this tradition seriously, choosing respect over risk. The superstition dates back centuries, with stories of injuries, fires, and failed performances all being linked to productions of Macbeth. Having spent much of her life around stages, sets, and live performance spaces, Jodie sees no reason to challenge a belief that so many performers swear by. If the word is ever accidentally spoken, theater folklore says a cleansing ritual must follow. That means stepping outside, spinning around, and knocking before re-entering. For Jodie Foster, avoiding the word altogether is the safest option, a quiet nod to tradition and a way to keep bad luck firmly off stage.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Daniel Craig relies on a simple but, firm superstition before stepping into intense action scenes. He always drinks black coffee beforehand. It's a ritual he believes sharpens his focus, steadies his nerves, and gets him mentally locked in before the physical demands kick in. For Craig, the coffee isn't about indulgence. It's about readiness. The bitterness, the heat, the familiarity, all of that signals to his brain that it's time to switch into action mode. Whether he's gearing up for a fight sequence or a high-speed stunt, that cup of black coffee marks the transition from preparation to performance. In the high-pressure world of blockbuster filmmaking, consistency really matters. This small ritual gives Daniel Craig a sense of control and calm before chaos, helping him face dangerous scenes with clarity, confidence, and, precision.
Helena Bonham Carter is known for her gothic elegance and love of history, so it's really no surprise that her superstition leans towards the mystical. She keeps Victorian-era charms with her for luck and protection. Drawn to the symbolism and craftsmanship of the past, Helena believes these old charms carry a quiet energy, shaped by the lives and stories they've already lived through. She often keeps them tucked into pockets or bags, especially when traveling or working on emotionally intense roles. For her, the charms act as a bridge between eras, grounding her in something timeless, while she steps into worlds that are often dark, dramatic, or surreal. In an industry that constantly demands reinvention, these Victorian charms give Helena a sense of continuity. They're more than curiosities or fashion pieces. They're personal talismans, offering comfort, protection, and, well, a whisper of old-world magic wherever she goes.
Tilda Swinton approaches her work with a sense of ritual, mystery, and deep intuition. And that extends to her superstition of using tarot cards before accepting or preparing for roles. Before stepping into a new character, she often turns to tarot as a way of reading the energy surrounding the project and her connection to it. For Tilda, tarot isn't about predicting fame or success. It's about insight. The cards help her reflect on themes, emotions, and transformations that a role might demand, allowing her to enter the character space with clarity and intention. It becomes part of her creative preparation, almost like a spiritual rehearsal. In a career defined by unconventional choices and fearless performances, these tarot rituals help ground her. They offer guidance, balance, and a sense of alignment before she commits fully. For Tilda Swinton, tarot is less superstition and more a sacred dialogue between intuition and art.
So, Nicole Kidman has this small but, very specific superstition she never skips when flying. She claps 3 times before or during a plane journey for luck. It's a ritual she honestly believes brings protection and safe travel, especially when she's spending long hours in the air moving between film sets and countries. The act itself is pretty quick and quiet, often done without drawing any attention. But to Nicole, it really carries some real meaning. The number 3 has long been associated with balance and protection, and those brief claps give her a sense of calm before takeoff or during turbulence. In a life filled with constant travel and, uncertainty, this simple habit offers a bit of reassurance. For Nicole Kidman, those 3 claps aren't superstition for show. They're a personal comfort ritual, helping her feel secure wherever the journey takes her.
So, Cate Blanchett carries a deeply meaningful superstition onto every red carpet. She wears her grandmother's ring at premieres. The ring isn't chosen for glamour or fashion. It's really worn for protection, grounding, and, a sense of continuity with the women who came before her. Before stepping into the spotlight, Cate slips the ring on as a quiet ritual. It reminds her of family strength, humility, and perspective, especially in moments where the pressure and attention can feel, overwhelming. The ring keeps her connected to something real and personal, right in the middle of the spectacle of fame. For Cate Blanchett, that inherited ring is more than just jewellery. It's a talisman of support and identity. With it on her hand, she carries her family's presence with her, turning premieres into moments not just of celebration, but honestly, of remembrance and gratitude. Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it. Oprah Winfrey is known for her powerhouse presence, but behind that calm confidence lies a superstition-like ritual she never abandons: stillness before decisions. Whenever she faces a major choice, whether it's a new business venture, a partnership, or a life shift, she retreats into silence. She shuts out the world, sits alone, and settles into deep meditation, letting her thoughts slow to a gentle drift. For Oprah, this isn't just a wellness habit, it's a guiding force. She believes that intuition can't speak over noise, chaos, or pressure. Meditation clears that fog, helping her separate fear from instinct, excitement from distraction. To her, clarity isn't something you chase, it's something that arrives when you get quiet enough to receive it. This ritual has become almost sacred in her life. No matter how tight the schedule or how intense the moment, Oprah refuses to take a major step without first entering this inner sanctuary. It's her personal compass, her protective charm, and her good luck signal that she's aligned, grounded, and ready to move toward whatever comes next.
Paul Newman may have been one of Hollywood's coolest icons, but even he carried a quiet superstition close to his heart, his lucky watch. No matter the film, the location, or the decade, that watch was always with him. It wasn't just an accessory. It was a constant companion tucked beneath the cuff of a suit, racing jacket, or sheriff's shirt, quietly ticking away through every scene he ever shot. For Newman, the watch symbolized more than time. It held memories of early career breaks, personal victories, and the steady comfort of something familiar in a world built on unpredictability. Wearing it grounded him, reminding him of who he was before the fame, the awards, and even the legendary salad dressing empire. When nerves rose or a role felt heavy, he'd touch the watch and reset himself, like a personal anchor. Cast and crew often joked that the watch deserved its own billing, because if Newman was on set, it was there too. Its presence almost a silent promise of a smooth day's work. Whether out of habit, sentiment, or superstition, Paul Newman never filmed without his trusted timepiece, believing its steady rhythm brought him luck, focus, and that unmistakable Newman calm.
Robert Pattinson may come off as effortlessly laid back, but even he holds tightly to a personal superstition, one that sits right there on his jawline. Before any major film audition, he refuses to shave. No trimming, no tidying, no razor anywhere near his face. To him, the scruff isn't just a look, it's a charm, a strange source of confidence that helps him walk into the room feeling grounded and authentic. Pattinson has joked that clean-shaven auditions never go well, and over time the belief stuck. The slight roughness makes him feel less polished, less Hollywood, and more like himself. Someone who can disappear into a character without the distraction of perfection. That natural edge gives him the freedom to loosen up, improvise, and fully commit without worrying about how he appears. And so, whether he's auditioning for an indie drama, a blockbuster, or a strange role only he could pull off, the ritual remains. The beard stays, superstition intact. It's become part of his quiet pre-audition armor, one that Hollywood casting directors may never notice, but which Robert Pattinson swears helps tilt the luck just a little more in his favor.
David Blaine may be known for defying logic, physics, and sometimes even basic human limits. But behind every jaw-dropping stunt is a quieter ritual he never abandons, his protective amulets. Long before he steps into a block of ice, holds his breath for impossible lengths of time, or risks his body in one of his endurance tests, he slips these small charms into his pocket, or wears them against his skin. To him, they're more than objects, they're shields. Blaine has spoken about how deeply he believes in intention, energy, and the unseen forces that surround high-risk feats. The amulets, often given to him by friends, spiritual guides, or people he admires, serve as a kind of spiritual armor. He treats them with reverence, believing they absorb fear, steady his mind, and help him stay connected to the calm he needs when pushing himself to the extreme. And though the audience never sees them, those amulets are always there, hidden beneath layers of ice inside a sealed box or pressed against his chest as he performs. They are the silent companions to every daring spectacle, a private superstition that helps David Blaine walk the razor-thin line between human and superhuman, with just a little more certainty on his side.
George Michael, despite his superstar aura and effortless stage presence, carried a quiet superstition close to his heart. Literally. Before stepping into the lights of any major tour, he would put on a simple cross necklace he considered his lucky charm. It wasn't flashy or meant for show. Most nights, it rested beneath his shirt, hidden from the audience but never forgotten by him. To George, it was a source of comfort, a reminder of strength, faith, and the grounding feeling of home. The necklace symbolized protection during the whirlwind of touring. Constant travel, massive crowds, unpredictable nights. When nerves crept in or the pressure of perfection felt heavy, touching that cross brought him back to himself. It held memories of childhood, belief, and the people who shaped him, becoming a small but powerful ritual that steadied his heart before every performance. It was his way of ensuring that luck, grace, and a sense of peace walked on stage with him. And though fans fell in love with his voice, charisma, and unmatched presence, few ever knew that behind the scenes, this modest charm played a role in his confidence. Show after show, city after city, the cross went with him, its quiet presence helping George Michael transform nerves into magic, private vulnerability into public brilliance, and every night into a moment worthy of his legendary career.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Before stepping into a character, Uma Thurman has a quiet ritual that centers her. She'll take her script, hold it for a beat, and tap it 3 times. Soft, steady, almost like knocking on the door of the world she's about to enter. It's her way of shedding everything outside the set and inviting the character in. Crew members who've worked with her say, you can always tell when she's about to film her first scene of the day. She finds a quiet corner, closes her eyes, and lets those 3 taps pull her into focus. For Uma, the ritual isn't about luck as much as presence. The taps help her reset, reconnect, and remind herself that each performance deserves intention. Some actors warm up their voices, some pace the room, but Uma's magic comes from the rhythm of those 3 quiet knocks. It's simple, almost invisible to anyone not paying attention, yet it's become a signature thread in the fabric of her process. Her little superstition that helps her step fully into the story.
For Michael Douglas, superstition comes in the form of something small enough to slip into a pocket, but powerful enough to steady him through decades of fame. A worn childhood coin he's carried since long before the awards, the headlines, or the iconic roles. The edges are smoothed from years of being thumbed in quiet moments, and he's admitted that he still reaches for it instinctively before big decisions or major projects. To him, it isn't just a charm. It's a reminder of where he came from, a grounding force amid the chaos of life in the spotlight. Throughout his career, that coin has traveled with him from set to set, tucked inside his wallet like a silent companion. When the pressure builds or the stakes rise, he'll pause, touch the coin, and feel a little surge of calm, almost like reconnecting with the boy he once was. It's a ritual he's never outgrown and never plans to. After all, for Michael, the coin isn't just lucky. It's history, protection, and memory all wrapped into one small, irreplaceable piece of his story.
Marilyn Monroe wore Chanel No. 5 as her armor for luck. For Marilyn Monroe, glamour wasn't just a performance, it was a shield, a ritual, and really, a source of strength. At the heart of that ritual was Chanel No. 5, the fragrance she famously claimed was all she wore to bed. But privately, she saw it as something more than a signature scent. To her, it was a kind of invisible armor, a lucky veil she believed helped her step into the world with confidence, softness, and control. A few drops on her skin became a quiet reminder that she could transform any room she walked into. Whenever she faced emotionally difficult scenes, public appearances, or the weight of her own rising fame, Marilyn leaned on the familiar comfort of that scent. It made her feel composed, protected, and unmistakably herself. Chanel No. 5 was her charm against insecurity, her fragrant talisman on chaotic film sets, and a whisper of stability in an unpredictable life. Even decades later, the scent is inseparable from her legacy, not just as a symbol of beauty, but as the good luck ritual she carried everywhere.
Even in the highest office in the world, Barack Obama carries a quiet superstition close to his heart. Among the memorabilia, gifts, and keepsakes in his private spaces, he keeps a small Madonna and child statue, a symbol of protection, faith, and comfort. For Obama, it's more than decoration. It's a personal ritual, a reminder of guidance and balance amid the immense pressures of leadership. Whenever difficult decisions arise or moments of uncertainty loom, the tiny statue serves as a grounding force. It's a silent companion that offers a sense of calm, helping him focus, reflect, and draw strength from a spiritual connection beyond politics or daily responsibilities. For Obama, this little figure is a private charm, a talisman that brings reassurance, protection, and a quiet reminder that even the most powerful people need anchors in life.
Donald Trump has long been known for his fascination with numbers, and among them, the number 9 holds special significance. He considers it a symbol of wealth, success, and good fortune, often incorporating it into important decisions, business deals, and property addresses whenever possible. For Trump, it's more than numerology. It's a superstition that guides him toward outcomes he hopes will be prosperous. This belief manifests in both big and small ways. From the timing of announcements to strategic choices in real estate and branding, the number 9 becomes a subtle ritual, almost like a secret code for luck. Whether skeptics notice or not, Trump treats it as a small but meaningful talisman, a reminder that even in business, fortune sometimes favors those who pay attention to signs. Over the years, this habit has reinforced his confidence, giving him a sense of control over situations where outcomes can feel unpredictable. The number 9 isn't just a numeral, it's a symbol of optimism, strategy, and the kind of luck Trump relies on to navigate his high-stakes world.
Angelina Jolie has always been known for her fierce devotion to her family, so it's no surprise that her superstition is rooted in motherhood. You see, before stepping onto any film set, she collects small drawings, scribbles, or notes made by her children and tucks them into her bag or costume trailer. To her, these little pieces of paper aren't just keepsakes. They're symbols of love and grounding, reminders of the world she returns to after the cameras stop rolling. On difficult shooting days, Jolie has been known to take a quiet moment alone, unfolding one of the drawings and letting it steady her, whether it's a bright crayon sketch or a simple "love you, Mum." These mementos connect her to the people who matter most, helping her navigate intense roles with emotional balance. It's her way of carrying her children with her, even when filming takes her to remote or demanding locations. This ritual has become a constant through the highs, lows, and transformations of her career. While other actors rely on charms or routines, Jolie relies on the love and innocence captured in her children's artwork. It keeps her heart centered, her purpose clear, and her spirit protected, proof that sometimes the most powerful superstition comes from the people we love.
Nicolas Cage's fascination with the mystical doesn't stop at playing eccentric characters. He lives a touch of that magic in real life. Over the years, he's become an avid collector of ancient talismans from cultures around the world. These aren't just souvenirs or shiny objects to him. They're pieces of human history, infused with meaning, myth, and a sense of the supernatural. Cage believes these artifacts carry a kind of spiritual weight, a lingering energy left behind by the people and rituals they once belonged to. To him, each talisman is a bridge to another time. When he holds one, he imagines the hands that once carried it, the ceremonies it may have been part of, and the hopes or fears woven into its creation. That connection isn't just poetic, it's personal. Cage keeps these objects close, especially during periods of stress or uncertainty, trusting that their ancient symbolism offers grounding or guidance. This belief has become its own quiet ritual in his life. Before major decisions, roles, or creative directions, he often turns to his talismans for a sense of clarity and intuition. It's not about superstition in the simple sense. It's about tapping into something larger, older, and more mysterious than himself. In true Nicolas Cage fashion, his lucky charm isn't a rabbit's foot or a number. It's a curated constellation of ancient relics that mirror the depth and eccentricity of his soul.
So, Brad Pitt is known for his calm, grounded presence, but behind that steadiness lies a quiet superstition he's carried for years, a small stone given to him by a Buddhist monk. The moment it was placed in his hand, the monk told him it carried intentions of peace and clarity, something Pitt really took to heart. Since then, the stone has become more than just an object. It's a personal anchor he keeps close during the unpredictable rhythm of fame. He reportedly carries it in his pocket during film shoots, press tours, and those long stretches of travel. Whenever stress creeps in or a scene requires intense focus, Pitt will instinctively reach for the stone, using its smooth surface like a reset button. It's his private ritual, simple, silent, and deeply meaningful, helping him stay centered while everything around him moves at high speed. In an industry overflowing with noise and expectation, this small token gives Pitt a moment of stillness. It reminds him of balance, intention, and humility, principles he's tried to hold on to as his career soared. Sometimes the most powerful superstitions aren't dramatic or theatrical. They're the quiet ones we tuck into our pocket and carry through life.
Ariana Grande's superstition is deeply personal and rooted in family. Before every performance, she takes a quiet moment to say a prayer to her grandfather, honoring his memory and seeking his guidance. For Ariana, this ritual is more than tradition. It's a way to feel protected, focused, and connected to someone who shaped her life long before the spotlight ever did. She often credits her grandfather with inspiring her love for music and her determination to pursue her dreams. Taking that brief pause before stepping on stage allows her to center herself, calm pre-show nerves, and carry a sense of comfort and encouragement into every performance. It's a private act of remembrance that grounds her amid the chaos of tours, press events, and world stages. For Ariana, this small ritual is a source of emotional strength. Saying the prayer isn't just about luck, it's about carrying her grandfather's presence with her, keeping him close in spirit, and drawing from that love and guidance to perform with confidence and heart. It's a superstition that mixes faith, family, and focus, and it's become an essential part of how she shines on stage.
Justin Bieber has built an entire career on massive stages, global tours, and millions of eyes watching his every move. But even with all that success, he still leans on a tiny ritual to steady his nerves. Before any major performance, Justin quietly steps aside, places his hand on the nearest wooden surface, and knocks 3 times. To him, it's more than just a habit. It's a grounding moment, a breath in the chaos that reminds him he's still connected to something simple and steady. He started doing it during the whirlwind early years of his fame, when every show felt like a high-pressure test he couldn't afford to fail. The 3 knocks became his way of clearing away doubt and calling in good energy, a little rhythm of reassurance before the roar of the crowd. Even now, with all his experience, he sticks to it religiously, right before the lights come up, or seconds before he steps onto the stage. Some crew members even watch for it because they know, if Justin hasn't done his 3 taps, the show hasn't truly begun. It's a small superstition, almost invisible to fans, but to him it's a symbolic shield. A promise that luck, calm, and confidence are right there with him as he walks into the spotlight.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Mariah Carey may be known for her 5-octave range and holiday domination, but behind the scenes she has a superstition as glamorous and, well, as specific as the diva herself. Before every concert, she insists on having exactly 20 white candles placed around her dressing room. To Mariah, these candles aren't just decor. They're part of a ritual that helps her slip into the calm, confident energy she needs before hitting the stage. The warm glow, the soft scent, the purity of the white flames. Mariah believes they cleanse the space, clear her mind, and protect her voice from the frantic chaos that often follows her everywhere. She started the tradition early in her career, when the pressure was enormous and quiet moments were rare. The candles became her sanctuary, a way to slow down time and create a cocoon of serenity before stepping into the spotlight. Crew members know the rule: no candles, no Mariah. It's a ritual that travels with her from city to city, venue to venue, a small but sacred superstition that makes her feel centered and powerful. For someone with a voice that can shake arenas, it's fitting that something as gentle as candlelight helps her prepare to shine.
Ed Sheeran may be one of the most down-to-earth superstars on the planet, but even he has a quiet superstition stitched into his routine. Before every performance, whether it's a tiny pub gig or a sold-out stadium show, he reaches for the same lucky guitar strap he's used for years. To most people it looks simple, worn, maybe even a little battered, but to Ed it carries the energy of every song he's ever poured his heart into. The strap has been with him since his early busking days, when crowds were small, coins were few, and every gig mattered. Back then, he believed that keeping one constant, one familiar piece of gear somehow grounded him. As his world exploded into fame, screaming fans, and global tours, that old strap became a little talisman of who he used to be, a reminder of the journey from street corners to world stages. Now it's become a ritual. Before he steps out into the lights, he checks it, adjusts it, and feels the history in its worn leather. It's a superstition rooted not in luck alone, but in gratitude, a belief that carrying a piece of his past helps him stay true to himself, no matter how massive the moment ahead may be.
Chris Martin's superstition is as colourful and heartfelt as the music he creates. Throughout Coldplay's massive world tours, he's almost always seen wearing the same stack of bracelets, woven bands, friendship ties, festival threads, little charms collected over the years. To most people, they just look like part of his style, but to Chris, they're quiet anchors of luck and emotional grounding before every show. Each bracelet carries a story, one made by a fan, another given by a friend, others picked up during difficult or defining times in his life. Over time, they've become more than accessories. They're reminders of connection, gratitude, and the people who helped shape him. Chris believes that wearing them keeps that energy close, a sort of protective shield that brings warmth and positivity before he steps under the bright stage lights. Before every performance, he checks them almost instinctively, rolling them between his fingers as if absorbing a little strength. It's a simple ritual, but one that brings him focus and comfort in the chaos of touring. To Chris Martin, those bracelets aren't just lucky, they're symbols of meaning, emotion, and the belief that music isn't just performed, it's carried with you.
Rihanna is a superstar known for her fierce performances and unstoppable energy, but even she has a personal ritual that keeps her grounded. She refuses to perform without her lucky socks. These aren't just any socks, they've accompanied her through rehearsals, shows, and tours, becoming a small but essential charm that she believes helps her hit the stage with confidence and focus. The superstition began early in her career, when she noticed that wearing the same socks seemed to coincide with flawless shows or moments of inspiration. Over time, they became a symbol of comfort and consistency amidst the chaos of touring, red carpets, and demanding schedules. Crew members know to double-check her wardrobe before performances, ensuring that her lucky pair is in place. No socks, no performance. For Rihanna, it's a playful yet meaningful ritual. Those socks carry energy, familiarity, and a sense of control over unpredictable moments, allowing her to channel her talent fully. While fans may never see the superstition in action, it's part of the hidden magic that helps her deliver the powerhouse performances she's celebrated for worldwide.
So, Billie Eilish's superstition is simple but, deeply sentimental. She always keeps a lucky ring her mother gave her close at hand. To Billie, it's more than just jewelry. It's a tangible reminder of family, love, and the support that's guided her from childhood all the way into superstardom. Whether she's stepping onto a stage, heading into a recording studio, or facing those high-pressure events, the ring is her quiet anchor. The ring carries memories and meaning that go way beyond luck. It represents her mother's faith in her, the encouragement she's received throughout her career, and the grounding presence of home, no matter how hectic life gets on tour or under the spotlight. Billie often touches or adjusts the ring before performances, a small gesture that reassures her and helps her focus on the moment ahead. Over time, this little ritual has become a cornerstone of her pre-show preparation. While fans may never actually see the superstition in action, the ring is always there, a private charm that infuses Billie with confidence, calm, and a sense of protection. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects, when they're filled with personal meaning, can hold incredible power in the moments that matter most. Natalie Wood, one of Hollywood's brightest and most sensitive stars, carried a quiet but powerful superstition throughout her life. She believed water was unlucky. From a young age, she felt an unshakable discomfort around open water, avoiding it whenever she could. Friends and family often noticed how tense she became near lakes or the ocean, as though something deep inside warned her to keep her distance. As her fame rose, the superstition only grew stronger. Even during film productions, she tried to avoid scenes involving water, and when they were unavoidable, she approached them with a mix of caution and dread. Castmates would sometimes tease her gently, not realizing how seriously she held her belief. For Natalie, it wasn't a quirk. It was an instinct she couldn't explain, a feeling that clung to her like a shadow. Tragically, her superstition would come to feel prophetic. When she later lost her life in a mysterious drowning, those who knew her best couldn't help but remember her lifelong fear. In retrospect, the superstition became part of her mystique, an eerie thread woven into the fabric of her legacy. To many, it stands as a haunting reminder of a brilliant talent taken too soon, shaped by intuition she never ignored.
Keanu Reeves is known for his calm, grounded energy, and one of his long-held rituals reflects exactly that. He carries a pocket knife given to him by his father. For Keanu, it isn't about aggression or danger, it's about protection, sentiment, and a quiet connection to his past. The knife isn't flashy or dramatic, but its personal history gives it a weight that matters deeply to him. He's often said to keep it close during travel, filming, and major life moments, almost like a small shield he can rely on. When the world around him becomes hectic, as it often does for someone constantly on set or on the move, having that knife in his pocket becomes a grounding force. It reminds him of where he came from and keeps him steady in moments of uncertainty. Over the years, this humble object has become more than a tool. It's a symbol of resilience, memory, and quiet confidence. In a world full of chaos, Keanu carries a piece of home, something that makes him feel safe, centered, and just a little more invincible.
Harrison Ford is famously down to earth, but even he holds on to a quiet superstition of his own. He keeps the same worn leather jacket as a personal talisman. It isn't just a piece of clothing, it's a companion that's followed him through decades of life, film sets, and adventures. The creases, the scuffs, the way it hangs just right, all of it carries a history he trusts. For Ford, slipping on that jacket feels like stepping into a familiar version of himself. Steady, capable, and grounded. It's a ritual that connects him to the early days of his career, reminding him of the resilience and grit that shaped him long before he became a global icon. Whenever he wears it, there's a sense of continuity and quiet confidence that follows. Over time, the jacket has become more than a beloved garment. It's a symbol of luck, identity, and the stories he's lived through. In an unpredictable world, and an even more unpredictable industry, Harrison Ford keeps one constant close to him, the leather jacket that makes him feel like he can take on anything.
Christopher Walken has always marched to the beat of his own drum, and his superstition is no exception. He intentionally wears mismatched socks as a personal good luck ritual. To him, the small act of pairing two different patterns or colors is more than a quirky fashion choice. It's a way of inviting spontaneity, creativity, and a touch of controlled chaos into his day. Walken believes that breaking the expected rhythm keeps his mind flexible and his performances unpredictable in the best possible way. At first glance, it may seem like a quiet habit, but for Walken, the mismatched socks are a secret spark. Before stepping onto a set or walking onto a stage, he checks his socks not for symmetry, but for contrast. A reminder that imperfection can be empowering. Instead of relying on strict routine, he draws luck from whimsy, letting the odd pairing set the tone for whatever character he's about to inhabit. Over the years, this eccentric practice has become one of Walken's signature private rituals, something that helps him stay grounded while still tapping into his trademark eccentricity. In a world obsessed with polish and precision, he embraces the uneven, the mismatched, and the unexpected, believing that, a little imbalance is exactly what brings him luck. Robin Williams carried a four-leaf clover charm for most of his career, a tiny token he treated with surprising tenderness. For a man whose humor could light up an entire room, this little charm acted like a quiet counterbalance. Something small, steady, and personal that grounded him when the world felt too loud. He kept it tucked away, never flaunted it, almost as if protecting the innocence behind it. Before performances, he would take a moment to touch the charm, letting its smooth edges steady his nerves. It wasn't about superstition in the dramatic sense. It was more like a ritual of gratitude. The charm reminded him of the early days when he was still discovering his voice, still learning how humor and heart could blend into something magical. That simple gesture helped him center himself before unleashing the whirlwind of wit and emotion that audiences adored. And in a way, the charm symbolized the essence of Robin Williams himself. Hopeful, heartfelt, and always searching for the good in a complicated world. It gave him comfort, a little spark of belief that no matter how chaotic life became, there were still tiny pockets of luck and beauty hidden in the details. That four-leaf clover wasn't just lucky. It was a quiet reminder of who he was at his core.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Clark Gable, the legendary star of Hollywood's golden age, had one superstition he never broke. He refused to step onto a set without his lucky hat. It wasn't glamorous or extravagant, just a well-worn piece that had been with him since his early acting days. But to Gable, that hat held the energy of every risk he'd taken, every role that had changed his life, and every moment when he'd needed a little extra confidence to face the camera. Before filming began, he would often pause for a quiet moment with the hat in hand, brushing the brim with his thumb as though reconnecting with an old friend. It grounded him, reminding him of the humble beginnings he came from and the long road he'd traveled to become a Hollywood icon. Whether he actually wore it in a scene didn't matter. What mattered was that it came with him, always within reach. Onlookers often joked that the hat had its own star power, always tucked in Gable's trailer or perched somewhere nearby like a silent guardian. For him, it wasn't just a superstition, but a link to his identity, a charm that carried the grit and determination of his early career. With that hat close by, Clark Gable felt unstoppable, ready to command the screen with the charm and presence that made him unforgettable.
So, Bruce Willis has a superstition that's as subtle as it is meaningful. He wears his watch upside down for luck. To most people, it might look like an accident, or maybe just a style choice, but for Willis, it's a ritual that brings him a sense of control and calm. He's kept this habit for years, believing it helps him stay grounded no matter how chaotic a film set becomes. Wearing the watch with the face turned inward is his way of staying connected to himself, almost like a private reminder hidden in plain sight. Before filming tough scenes or stepping into emotionally heavy moments, that upside-down watch becomes a quiet reassurance, something familiar that keeps him balanced. Over time, this little quirk has become part of his identity, a symbolic piece of armor that travels with him from movie to movie. It's a perfect example of how even the toughest stars rely on small rituals to help them feel ready, steady, and just a little bit luckier.
Bruce Lee's superstition wasn't about charms or lucky objects. It was about energy, balance, and flow. He believed deeply in the principles of feng shui, and he applied them with precision in his training environments. To him, a space wasn't just a room, it was an extension of the mind and body. Everything, from the placement of mirrors to the direction of his wooden dummy, had to be arranged to encourage harmony and power. Friends who visited his home gym often noticed how intentional the layout was. Bruce would adjust furniture, shift equipment, or redirect light until the room felt right. He believed that when the energy in a space circulated properly, focus sharpened, movements flowed more freely, and discipline rooted itself more deeply. Training wasn't just physical, it was spiritual alignment. This feng shui ritual became part of Bruce Lee's legend, another example of how he blended philosophy with martial arts. To him, success came from mastering both the external and internal worlds, and that started with the space around him. His superstition didn't just shape his workouts. It helped shape the legacy of a man who saw strength as a harmony of body, mind, and environment.
Jet Li's superstition is rooted in his deep spiritual upbringing, and it's something he's carried with him throughout his extraordinary career. He wears Buddhist charms, usually small, intricately shaped pendants or beads, believing they bring protection, clarity, and safety. For him, these charms aren't accessories. They're pieces of guidance and grounding, reminders of the values he was raised with. On film sets, especially during action-heavy productions, these charms take on even more significance. Jet Li has performed countless dangerous stunts, often pushing his body to the limit, and he believes these sacred items help shield him from harm. Whether tucked under his costume or tied discreetly around his wrist, they stay close, a silent reassurance against the unpredictable risks of martial arts filmmaking. Even in his personal life, the charms remain an everyday ritual. They help him maintain a connection to his faith, his past, and his sense of inner peace. Jet Li's superstition isn't about luck in a flashy sense. It's about spiritual protection, humility, and carrying a part of his tradition with him everywhere he goes.
Audrey Hepburn was known for her elegance, but few people realized that her signature pearl earrings were more than just a fashion choice. They were her protective charm. She believed pearls carried a calming energy, something soft and steady that helped her navigate the pressures of fame. Every time she slipped them on, it felt like she was wrapping herself in a quiet kind of strength, a reminder of grace even in overwhelming moments. Before important scenes or public appearances, Audrey would often touch her earrings lightly, almost like a grounding ritual. The smooth, cool surface reminded her to stay poised, to breathe, and to trust herself. To her, the pearls weren't just accessories, they were anchors, helping her maintain her sense of self in a world that constantly tried to define her. Over time, the pearl earrings became a symbol of who she was, serene, resilient, and effortlessly timeless. They connected her to her inner calm, offering a subtle shield against the demands of the spotlight. In their gentle glow, she found a quiet kind of protection, one that carried her through some of the most iconic moments in film history.
Jack Nicholson, with his trademark grin and unmistakable intensity, has long been known for his eccentricities. But one superstition stands above them all: his absolute refusal to cross paths with a black cat. It doesn't matter if he's on his way to a studio meeting, a premiere, or even just heading home. If he spots a black cat anywhere in his line of travel, everything stops. Jack treats the moment like a warning from the universe itself. Drivers, assistants, and friends have watched him do it countless times. He'll pause, assess the situation, and instantly decide to change direction, even if it means taking a completely different street or circling around the block. To Jack, it's not an overreaction, but a necessary act of self-preservation, a way to stay aligned with the strange energy he believes guides his luck and career. And oddly enough, it fits him, this legendary actor who has always danced between charm and chaos, superstition and swagger. Avoiding black cats isn't just a habit, it's part of the mysterious aura that makes Jack Nicholson feel larger than life. It's a small ritual, but to him, it's a shield, and a reminder that even Hollywood legends listen when fate whispers.
Robert De Niro, a man known for disappearing so completely into his roles that audiences forget where he ends and the character begins, has a quiet ritual that grounds him before every performance. Just moments before stepping onto a set or stage, he closes his eyes, falls into complete stillness, and recites a private mantra known only to him. No one else, not directors, not co-stars, not even close friends, has ever heard the words. Crew members have seen the transformation happen in real time. De Niro will stand off to the side, seemingly calm, then lower his head slightly as if he's stepping into an inner world. His lips move just barely, silent, focused, deliberate. Whatever that mantra is, it's his key, his anchor, the invisible switch that turns Robert the Man into Robert the Legend. And when he lifts his head again, it's like watching a different person entirely. The intensity sharpens, the posture changes, and suddenly he's ready, fully locked into whoever he needs to become. That quiet mantra, whispered only to himself, is his way of honoring the work, respecting the craft, and keeping his mind steady in a world where he's constantly asked to become someone else.
Al Pacino, with that unmistakable gravelly voice and electric screen presence, has a surprisingly old-school superstition tucked into his everyday life. No matter where he's going, set, stage, interview, or just a quiet dinner, he keeps a small rabbit's foot in his pocket. It's not flashy, not something he shows off, just a tiny charm he's carried for decades. To Pacino, it's less about luck in the cheesy sense and more about having a piece of grounding energy with him. He's said in passing that the life he leads can feel chaotic, unpredictable, and full of pressure, so the rabbit's foot acts like a secret anchor, something familiar, something steady, a reminder that even in the madness of Hollywood, there's a bit of personal ritual he can control. And over the years, castmates have noticed the pattern. Whenever he reaches for a deep emotional moment or a tough scene, his hand will brush that pocket for just a second. Almost like he's checking that his little talisman is still there, ready to back him up. For a man who's played gangsters, detectives, devils, and everything in between, that tiny rabbit's foot is the quiet companion he never leaves behind.
Sylvester Stallone, a figure defined by grit and determination, keeps one small, deeply personal ritual close to his heart, a chain with a charm given to him by his mother. Long before Rocky or Rambo made him an icon, It was his mother's belief in him that kept him pushing forward, and that tiny charm became a symbol of that unwavering support. Stallone has admitted that carrying it reminds him of where he came from and the strength it took to get there. On film sets, people have noticed he often touches the chain before a demanding scene, almost like he's tapping into a quiet reserve of courage. It's not flashy or dramatic. It's a simple gesture, often hidden beneath his shirt. But for Stallone, it's a moment of grounding. You know, there was a woman who saw his potential long before anyone else did. She convinced him he could do anything, even when the world hadn't noticed yet. To him, the charm isn't just some superstition. It's really a piece of his past, a reminder of that vulnerable kid who dreamed bigger than anyone thought he should. It goes with him everywhere, not just as an accessory, but as a promise, that no matter how tough things get, he carries his mother's belief with him, as close as the beating of his own heart.
Jack Black's superstition is as quirky and energetic as the man himself. He eats the exact same pre-show meal every single time he steps on stage. To outsiders, it might seem like a simple habit, but to Jack, it's a ritual of balance, grounding, and rhythm. The earliest spark of the comedic chaos he brings to every performance. It's his way of pressing start on his inner engine, making sure the vibe is right before he unleashes his larger-than-life energy. He swears that this ritual meal, always eaten in the same order, at the same pace, keeps him aligned, almost like a comedic monk preparing for spiritual battle. If the food isn't available or the timing feels off, he jokes that the universe itself feels slightly tilted. But behind the humor is a quiet belief that consistency fuels creativity, and that this one controlled variable helps him face the unpredictability of live audiences. And when he sits down with that familiar plate, he says it's more than food. It's comfort, nostalgia, and confidence wrapped into one. It reminds him of early gigs, of small stages, of the thrill before he made it big. So even now, with stadiums chanting his name, Jack Black still grounds himself the same way he always has, by eating the exact same meal and trusting the ritual that carried him from dive bars to global fame.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Ozzy Osbourne has lived a life filled with chaos, unpredictability, and wild extremes. So it's no surprise that he clings tightly to a superstition rooted in protection. Throughout his home, no matter where you turn, he keeps crucifixes displayed. On walls, on shelves, beside beds, even tucked into corners most people wouldn't think to look. For Ozzy, these aren't decorations or relics of style. They are shields, spiritual anchors he believes help keep dark energy away from him. This ritual began early in his career, during the height of Black Sabbath's fame, when the band's music flirted with occult imagery and provoked fearful reactions from the public. Ozzy felt the weight of those assumptions pressing in on him, and the crucifixes became a way to restore balance, to set the record straight privately, even when the world didn't understand. They offered a sense of grounding, a visual reminder that despite the theatrics of his stage persona, he sought light, not darkness. To this day, the superstition continues as a quiet habit intertwined with his identity. The crucifixes in his home aren't just symbols of faith. They're symbols of safety, routine, and continuity in a life that has been anything but stable. For Ozzy, surrounding himself with these objects creates a sanctuary, a place where the noise of the world, the fame, the controversy, the chaos, can't quite reach him.
You know, Gene Simmons has often spoken about the power of symbols, but honestly, none seem to mean as much to him as the worn, creased dollar bill he's carried since he was a young boy. Growing up with very little, that single bill became more than just currency. It became a reminder of how far he'd come, and well, how far he still wanted to go. Over the years, it became his secret token of perseverance and prosperity. Before major shows, press events, or big career decisions, Simmons quietly checks that the lucky dollar is tucked safely in his wallet. He's said that just touching it brings him a sense of grounding, almost like reconnecting with the kid who once dreamed of impossible things. It's not about superstition in a flashy sense. It's a deeply personal ritual tied to memory, struggle, and ambition. Even now, after decades of fame, the dollar remains untouched, unspent, and honestly, irreplaceable. To Simmons, it's a charm that carries the weight of his past and the momentum of his success. A small reminder that even the biggest legends often draw strength from the simplest objects.
Freddie Mercury, the legendary frontman of Queen, was known for his larger-than-life presence, but behind the glamour and power was a deeply personal superstition. He kept a talisman necklace with him during performances, a small charm believed to hold protective energy. To Freddie, this wasn't just jewelry. It was a personal anchor, something that grounded him before stepping into the explosive intensity of the stage. He often touched or adjusted the necklace right before the lights came up, as though he were drawing strength from it. Surrounded by roaring crowds and towering expectations, the talisman acted like a quiet reminder of who he was beyond the showman, a vulnerable artist seeking a moment of spiritual balance. It became part of his pre-performance ritual, as essential as warming up his voice or checking the mic. Fans rarely noticed this subtle gesture, hidden beneath flamboyant costumes and dazzling performance charisma, but it mattered to Freddie. The necklace traveled with him from city to city, night after night, becoming a silent guardian through the years. It was a small superstition for a man with a colossal legacy, a private charm that helped fuel one of the greatest voices in music history.
John Lennon's fascination with the number 9 wasn't just a quirky preference. It was a thread woven through the most pivotal moments of his life. From his birth on October 9th to his home in Liverpool being located at 9 Newcastle Road, the number seemed to follow him like a quiet cosmic companion. Lennon noticed these patterns early, and instead of brushing them off as coincidence, he embraced them as signs, something meaningful whispering from the universe. This belief seeped into his creative world too. Many of his songs contain references to the number, the most famous being Revolution 9, a chaotic, dreamlike sound collage that seemed to echo the mystical significance he assigned to it. Even his personal life aligned with the number. He met important collaborators, experienced major life changes, and even crafted moments in his career around dates and timings tied to 9. It was a number that made him feel anchored, watched over, or perhaps guided. For Lennon, the number wasn't just lucky. He saw it as part of his destiny's blueprint. It gave him a sense of structure within the unpredictable chaos of fame, artistry, and self-discovery. Whether it truly shaped his life, or he shaped his life around it, hardly mattered. What mattered was that it offered him meaning. And for a man endlessly searching for truth, hope, and connection, the number 9 became a simple but powerful symbol of who he felt he was meant to be.
Yoko Ono has long been known for her spiritual curiosity and unconventional approach to life, and part of that includes a consistent practice of consulting psychics. She believes in seeking guidance from energies and insights beyond the ordinary, using these sessions to navigate personal decisions and the complexities of her life. To Yoko, psychics aren't just entertainers, they're trusted advisors who offer clarity and perspective when the world feels uncertain. Throughout her career, especially during pivotal moments in her art and personal life, Yoko has turned to psychics to help make sense of situations or to gain reassurance. The ritual of consulting them brings her a sense of calm and connection to something larger than herself. It's a practice that blends intuition, creativity, and a spiritual openness that has always been central to her persona. This superstition isn't just a private hobby, it reflects her deeper philosophy of remaining attuned to unseen forces. By regularly seeking insights from psychics, Yoko Ono demonstrates that even some of the most influential and visionary figures in the world rely on guidance, protection, and a touch of mystery to navigate life's uncertainties. Janet Jackson has always been known for her precision, discipline, and deep connection to the emotional energy of performance. Part of that connection comes from a quiet ritual she's kept for years. She always wears black before stepping on stage. To Janet, black isn't just a colour, it's a protective layer, a grounding presence that helps her centre herself before the spotlight hits. Before every show, she slips into black clothing during rehearsals or prep, believing it aligns her energy and shields her from unwanted distractions. It's a moment where she becomes still, focused, and unshakable. This ritual isn't about glamour, it's about mental preparation, a way to step into the powerful performer the world knows her to be. For Janet, wearing black has become a symbolic reset, a reminder of strength, privacy, and control in an environment filled with noise. Whether she's preparing for a small appearance or a major world tour, this simple yet meaningful superstition anchors her spirit and sets the tone for the performance that follows.
Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices the world has ever heard, held a quiet but powerful ritual close to her heart. Before stepping into the whirlwind of a new tour, endless flights, rehearsals, interviews, and packed arenas, she gathered her band and team into a small circle backstage. In that moment, the noise of the world faded, replaced by stillness and intention. For Whitney, prayer wasn't just a formality, it was her grounding force. She believed that every show carried emotional weight, that every performance touched lives, and that protection was something you asked for, not assumed. Her prayer circle created unity and calm, binding everyone together before they stepped into the spotlight's intensity. This ritual became a hallmark of her touring life. No matter the city or the size of the venue, Whitney wouldn't begin a tour without this shared moment of gratitude and guidance. It was her way of anchoring herself, heart, mind, and spirit, before giving everything she had to the world each night.
Bob Marley's superstition was as soulful and steady as the rhythm of his music. Throughout his life, he wore a silver ring that he believed offered spiritual protection. It wasn't flashy or extravagant, just a simple, worn-in piece that carried meaning far beyond its shine. For Marley, the ring acted like a quiet guardian, a symbol of peace and grounding in a world that constantly pulled at him. Those closest to him said he touched the ring often, almost unconsciously, especially before performances or moments of uncertainty. It became a small ritual, one that reminded him of his roots, his faith, and the people he loved. To him, the ring wasn't just an accessory, it was a link to something deeper, a reminder of the spiritual forces he felt guided his path. Even today, fans speak about the ring as part of his legend, a tiny artifact wrapped into the larger mystique of who Bob Marley was. In every photo where it glints in the light, it hints at a man who believed protection didn't always come from strength alone. It could also come from a symbol, a touch, a piece of silver that held his spirit steady.
Mick Jagger, the electrifying frontman of the Rolling Stones, was known for more than just his legendary strut. He also had a quiet but unwavering superstition involving a lucky stage scarf. For years, Jagger believed that this particular scarf carried a kind of protective energy, something that kept the chaos of touring and the pressure of performing at bay. Whenever he wrapped it around his neck or draped it over his shoulders, it was as though he was putting on a layer of confidence before stepping into the lights. Before every show, as the crowd roared outside and the band tuned up backstage, Jagger's ritual remained the same. He would pause, take a breath, and reach for the scarf, treating it almost like a shield. It didn't matter if the venue was a stadium in Europe or a tiny rehearsal hall. Without that scarf, something felt off. Crew members even joked that the concert couldn't start until the scarf arrived, because they knew how seriously he took it. And while he never made a big public spectacle out of it, those who worked around him knew it was one of his most enduring habits. It wasn't about fashion or glamour. It was about grounding himself before unleashing that wild, electrifying presence the world knows so well. For Jagger, that lucky scarf wasn't just an accessory. It was a quiet ritual woven into decades of rock and roll history.
Keith Richards has always carried a belief that music isn't just sound, it's spirit. And for him, certain guitars seem to hum with something deeper, something almost alive. He often said that some instruments just had a soul, as if the players before him had left traces of their energy lingering in the wood and strings. To Keith, picking up the right guitar wasn't a choice, it was a connection. He became known for treating his favorite guitars less like equipment and more like wise old companions. He'd run his hands over the neck, feel the weight, and claim he could sense whether a guitar had the right vibe for a performance. Some he swore were charged with a kind of spiritual electricity, especially the ones that had traveled with him through chaos, through legendary concerts, and through nights he barely remembered. Those guitars, he felt, protected him, and before stepping on stage, he often paused with the instrument he trusted most, allowing whatever power he believed it held to settle him. It became an unspoken ritual, selecting that guitar, the one with history, the one with presence. Whether it was superstition, intuition, or the mysterious bond between a musician and his instrument, Keith Richards believed certain guitars didn't just play music, they carried it.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Rod Stewart's lucky chain bracelet is more than a piece of jewelry. It's a long-standing ritual woven into his life as naturally as his iconic voice. He's worn it for years as a personal charm, a small but meaningful accessory that he believes brings him steadiness and good fortune. To Stewart, the bracelet isn't about fashion. It's about feeling right before he steps into the spotlight. On stage, that bracelet becomes a kind of silent companion. Whether he's belting out classics or performing for thousands, he keeps it on as a reminder of familiarity and protection. It's one of the few constants in a career filled with unpredictable highs, whirlwind tours, and the ever-shifting landscape of fame. If it's missing, he's known to feel slightly off, as though a piece of his confidence has been left behind. Even in his day-to-day life, the bracelet stays with him, a grounding link to his personal history and the energy he associates with success. For someone who has carved out a legendary career over decades, this small ritual captures a charming truth. Even icons hold on to a touch of superstition, relying on that one lucky item to help keep their world balanced.
Phil Collins, the legendary drummer and singer-songwriter, has a superstition that really reflects his deep connection to rhythm and performance. He never performed without a special drumstick. For Collins, that drumstick isn't just a tool. It's a talisman, a piece of his artistry that carries energy, focus and familiarity. Whether he's playing in front of thousands at a stadium or in a more intimate setting, having that particular drumstick in hand helps him feel grounded and ready to deliver his best performance. The ritual began early in his career, when Collins realized that certain objects, whether instruments or personal items, could actually boost his confidence and calm those pre-show nerves. That one drumstick, carried from gig to gig, became his signature charm, a tangible reminder of his skill, preparation, and dedication to his craft. It's a small detail that gives him a sense of control in the unpredictable world of live music. For Phil Collins, superstition and performance really go hand in hand. The drumstick isn't about luck alone. It's about mental readiness, ritual, and the energy he brings to each show. In his hands, it transforms from a simple piece of wood into a symbol of precision, power, and the quiet magic behind a legendary musician's stage presence.
Sting, the iconic musician and frontman of The Police, incorporates a unique superstition into his performance routine. He practices yoga as a pre-show ritual. For Sting, it's more than just exercise. It's a way to center his mind, align his energy, and find balance before stepping onto the stage. The stretches, breathing exercises, and meditative focus help him connect with both his body and his music, ensuring he's fully present for every note he sings and every movement he makes. This ritual has become a cornerstone of his preparation, especially during long tours or high-pressure performances. Yoga allows Sting to release tension, calm nerves, and maintain the stamina required for his demanding shows. Over time, the practice became more than physical preparation. It became a spiritual and mental grounding tool, helping him channel creativity and maintain clarity under the bright lights. For Sting, the connection between superstition, discipline, and artistry is clear. His yoga practice isn't about luck in the traditional sense, but about creating the optimal conditions for success. By honoring this ritual before each performance, he ensures that both his mind and body are in harmony, allowing the music to flow freely and the audience to feel the full force of his presence.
Elton John, the flamboyant and iconic pianist and singer, has a superstition that blends glamour with a touch of magic. He collects crystal figurines for luck before concerts. These sparkling treasures aren't just decorative. For Elton, they serve as talismans that bring positive energy, focus, and confidence to his performances. Before stepping onto a stage, he surrounds himself with these tiny crystals, creating a personal ritual that transforms his dressing room into a space of inspiration and calm. The habit began early in his career, when Elton realized that having small, meaningful objects nearby could help steady his nerves and enhance his creative flow. Each figurine holds significance, whether as a symbol of protection, success, or a reminder of milestones he's achieved. Over time, the collection became an essential part of his pre-concert routine, a quiet yet powerful superstition that supports his larger-than-life presence on stage. For Elton John, these crystal figurines are more than lucky charms. They're a bridge between intention and performance. In the chaos of touring, flashing lights, and roaring crowds, they provide a tangible sense of control and comfort. They remind him that even in a career defined by spectacle, a little personal ritual can make all the difference in harnessing energy, focus, and that unmistakable Elton magic.
Cher, the legendary singer and actress known for her bold style and larger-than-life persona, has a superstition rooted in the stars. She consults astrologers before going on tour. For Cher, astrology isn't just entertainment, it's a way to gain insight into timing, energy, and the potential challenges ahead. By checking her charts and predictions, she feels more prepared and aligned, giving her a sense of control in the unpredictable world of live performance. This ritual has been a part of her career for decades. Before stepping onto stages around the world, Cher uses the guidance of astrologers to plan schedules, understand relationships with her crew, and even choose the best moments to perform or make public appearances. For her, it's a way of syncing with the universe, ensuring that her energy, focus, and creativity are all in harmony. Cher's superstition reflects her belief that success isn't just about talent or hard work, it's also about timing and flow. Consulting astrologers allows her to navigate the pressures of fame with a sense of cosmic guidance, turning what might feel like chance into a ritual of preparation, clarity, and confidence before she captivates audiences worldwide. So, Emma Stone holds on to a superstition that's as sweet and sentimental as her on-screen charm. She carries a lucky rabbit charm from her childhood. For her, this tiny keepsake isn't just a trinket, it's a piece of her past that brings comfort, confidence, and, a sense of continuity as she navigates the unpredictable world of Hollywood. No matter how glamorous the event or how high stakes the moment, that small rabbit charm is never far from her, tucked away like a quiet reminder of where she came from. The charm has followed her through auditions, red carpets, and major award shows, a private ritual that helps steady her nerves and spark good energy before stepping into the spotlight. Emma has described it as a grounding item, something that reconnects her to childhood innocence, creativity, and the belief that magic can exist in unexpected places. With it in hand, she feels just a bit more fearless, a bit more focused, and a lot more herself. For Emma Stone, superstition is woven with nostalgia and heart. The lucky rabbit charm isn't about fame or pressure, it's about carrying a tiny piece of home with her wherever she goes. And in an industry filled with unpredictability, that small familiar symbol has become her quiet source of strength and good fortune.
So, Benedict Cumberbatch has this superstition that's honestly as understated and refined as he is. He wears the same scarf to auditions for luck. What started out as just a simple accessory quickly became, like, a quiet ritual. It seemed to give him confidence and clarity during some of the biggest moments of his early career. Whether he was auditioning for small roles or, those totally life-changing ones, that familiar scarf gave him a real sense of calm, a reminder of where he started and what he hoped to achieve. Over time, the scarf became more than a piece of clothing. It became a symbol of preparation, a personal charm that helped him focus his thoughts and, silence the pressure of the room. No matter how tense or competitive an audition felt, wrapping that scarf around his neck created a moment of grounding, almost like a protective shield of comfort and routine. For Cumberbatch, this superstition isn't about theatrics or spectacle. It's about holding on to something steady in a world full of uncertainty. And maybe, just maybe, a bit of that quiet charm followed him into the roles that made him one of the most recognizable actors of his generation.
So, Reese Witherspoon carries a superstition that's rooted deeply in love and family. She always brings her grandmother's necklace to film sets. For Reese, this precious piece of jewelry is far more than just an accessory. It's a connection to the woman who inspired her strength, kindness, and determination. No matter the role she's taking on or the intensity of the shoot, having that necklace nearby acts like a quiet anchor.
bringing comfort and emotional grounding in the fast-paced, unpredictable world of filmmaking. Over the years, the necklace has become an essential part of her on-set ritual. It stays close during table reads, rehearsals, and those long shooting days, reminding her of the values and encouragement her grandmother instilled in her. Whenever Reese feels overwhelmed or uncertain, just holding the necklace or catching a glimpse of it helps her reset, breathe, and step back into character with confidence. It's really her way of carrying a protective presence into every new project. For Reese Witherspoon, this superstition is less about luck and more about legacy. The necklace symbolizes strength, love, and the roots that shaped her. A personal reminder that no matter how big the stage or how bright the lights, she's never walking into a scene alone.
Will Ferrell has a superstition that, honestly, perfectly matches his quirky, lovable personality. He eats the same breakfast before every film shoot. No matter what wild character he's about to become, his morning plate stays exactly the same. For Will, this ritual isn't just about food, it's about finding a reliable moment of normalcy before diving into the chaos of comedy, stunts, and those long filming days. That familiar breakfast really sets the tone, giving him a sense of routine and grounding even when the script is, totally unpredictable. The habit started early in his career when he noticed that sticking to one breakfast helped calm those pre-shoot jitters and keep his mind focused. Soon it became a superstition he just refused to break, a comforting, almost sacred ritual before transforming into those larger-than-life characters. Whether he's playing an elf, an anchorman, or a racing legend, that predictable morning meal helps him ease into the creative mindset he's so well known for. For Ferrell, the superstition is equal parts practical and emotional. It creates consistency, offers comfort, and acts like a quiet backstage ritual that helps him get into character. And in a career filled with unpredictable scenes and hilarious mayhem, that simple, steady breakfast feels like the good luck charm that fuels the comedy fans love.
Snoop Dogg has a superstition that perfectly matches his smooth, laid-back style. He lights incense before recording tracks. For him, it's not just about creating a pleasant smell in the studio, it's about setting the right vibe. The moment the incense smoke begins to curl into the air, Snoop feels the energy shift. It calms the room, clears distractions, and creates a creative atmosphere where the music can flow naturally. It's his way of tuning the space before tuning his voice. This ritual began early in his career when he noticed that certain scents helped him relax and find his rhythm. Over time, lighting incense became as essential as the microphone itself. Whether he's crafting a laid-back West Coast anthem or experimenting with new sounds, Snoop uses incense to connect with the mood he wants the music to carry. Smooth, confident, and effortless. For Snoop Dogg, it's more than superstition. It's artistry. The incense acts like a spiritual cue that tells his mind, it's time to create. It anchors him, focuses him, and brings a little ritual magic into the recording booth. And with every song he lays down, that fragrant smoke becomes part of the creative process that shaped one of hip-hop's most iconic voices.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
So Drake has this superstition that sits right at the heart of his creative process. He just refuses to record without his lucky microphone. It's not just a piece of equipment to him. It's the tool that captured his earliest successes, his breakthrough moments, and honestly, some of the lyrics that totally changed his life. Over time, that microphone became a symbol of trust and consistency, a familiar anchor he relies on whenever he steps into the booth. Before every session, whether he's laying down emotional verses or crafting a late-night anthem, Drake makes sure that microphone is there. Its presence gives him confidence, helping him slip into the low-lit, introspective headspace where his best work is born. No matter how high-tech the studio or how legendary the collaborators, he believes the energy just isn't the same without it. For Drake, this superstition is part comfort, part ritual, and part respect for the moments that shaped him. Using his lucky microphone connects him to the journey he's been on, reminding him of the grind, the vulnerability, and, yeah, the magic that built his career. It's not just about sound quality, it's about keeping the spirit of his music intact every time he hits record.
Post Malone has a superstition that's inked right into his skin. He's obsessed with lucky numbers on his tattoos. For him, these numbers aren't chosen at random. They hold personal meaning, protective value, and a kind of symbolic power he believes helps guide his life and career. Some represent milestones, some carry emotional weight, and others are tied to moments he never wants to forget. By tattooing them, he keeps those energies with him permanently, like a set of lucky charms he can't lose. His fascination with numbers has become part of his creative identity. Before new projects, tours, or major decisions, Post often reflects on these numbers, almost like they're anchors that help him stay grounded in the whirlwind of fame. Fans have noticed patterns, digits that show up repeatedly in his artwork, merch, and even his personal style. For Post, these aren't coincidences, they're intentional markers of luck and protection. In a world where success can feel unpredictable, Post Malone uses his tattoos as a personal map of meaning. Each number is a reminder, a ritual, a connection to something bigger than himself. And with every new tattoo, he strengthens the superstition that his luck, and the stories behind it, is written not just in the stars, but on his skin.
Cardi B, the bold and unapologetic rap superstar, has a superstition that's as flashy and confident as her persona. She always carries red nail polish for luck. For Cardi, the colour red isn't just about style, it's a symbol of power, confidence, and good energy. Before hitting the stage, attending events, or stepping into the studio, she ensures she has her lucky polish on hand, ready to bring that vibrant energy into any situation. The ritual started early in her rise to fame, when Cardi noticed that the simple act of applying red polish seemed to boost her mood and focus. Over time, it became a consistent habit, a small but significant charm that she associates with success, protection, and making bold statements. The polish is more than cosmetic, it's a talisman that connects her to her inner strength and fearless persona. For Cardi B, superstition is about empowerment as much as luck. The red nail polish is a personal symbol, a reminder that confidence and charisma can be carried in even the tiniest details. In a world full of unpredictability, this ritual helps her feel grounded, stylish, and unstoppable, ready to conquer whatever the spotlight throws her way.
Nicki Minaj, the queen of bold fashion and high-energy performances, has a superstition that perfectly matches her vibrant persona. She never goes on stage without a pink item in her outfit. For Nicki, the color pink isn't just a fashion choice, it's a symbol of confidence, power, and personal identity. Whether it's a piece of clothing, an accessory, or even a shoe, that pop of pink acts as her talisman, helping her channel the energy she needs to command the stage. The ritual started early in her career, when Nicki realized that wearing pink gave her a boost of courage and focus before stepping in front of a crowd. Over time, it became a signature superstition, a small but essential part of her performance preparation. Fans often notice her pink accents and have come to associate them with her fearless, larger-than-life persona. For Nicki Minaj, superstition is a way to merge style with personal power. The pink item isn't just luck, it's a reminder of who she is and the energy she wants to project. By including that splash of color in every performance, she maintains a ritual that keeps her grounded, confident, and unstoppable under the bright lights.
Doja Cat, the genre-defying pop and rap star, has a superstition that fuels her creativity. She keeps lucky dice in her studio. These small, colourful dice aren't just decorations, they serve as personal talismans, helping her feel inspired, focused, and connected to the energy of her music. Before recording new tracks or experimenting with beats, she often glances at or touches the dice, believing they bring a spark of luck and creative flow into the session. The ritual began early in her career, as Doja discovered that having tangible symbols of good fortune helped calm nerves and boost confidence. Over time, the dice became an essential part of her studio setup, a subtle but meaningful way to channel positive energy while crafting hits that range from playful pop to experimental rap. Each roll or glance is a reminder of chance, possibility, and the power of intention in her work. For Doja Cat, superstition isn't just about luck, it's about mindset and ritual. The lucky dice help her enter the creative zone, focus on the task at hand, and embrace the unpredictable energy of making music. In a world where inspiration can strike or fade in an instant, these tiny charms serve as her grounding force, playful, potent, and uniquely hers. So, Selena Gomez has a superstition that's honestly as heartfelt as it is personal. She keeps a lucky bracelet that was given to her by a fan. It wasn't planned, and it definitely wasn't chosen for style. It was just this small, unexpected gift handed to her during a real moment of connection. There was something about the sincerity behind it that just stayed with her, you know. And over time, she started to notice that wearing it brought her a sense of comfort before big events or performances. It became this sweet reminder of the people who support her, the ones who've really grown with her through every single chapter of her career. When the pressure of the spotlight gets heavy, that bracelet, it grounds her. She'll often just reach for it without even thinking, kind of running her fingers over the beads or charms as a way to calm herself before stepping onto a stage or into a studio. And it's not really about magic, it's about meaning. It symbolizes loyalty, gratitude, and that invisible bond between an artist and her audience. For Selena, that one bracelet carries more than luck. It holds memories, support, and this gentle reminder that even in the whirlwind of fame, she's never truly alone. It's a superstition woven right from a fan's kindness, and honestly, it travels with her wherever she goes.
Shawn Mendes has a superstition rooted deeply in comfort and connection. Before every show, he plays the same guitar backstage. It's not the polished instrument fans see under stadium lights. It's the one he's kept for years, a guitar with worn frets, softened wood, and a familiar warmth that reminds him where everything began. Just holding it brings him back to his earliest days of posting covers online, when music felt intimate and personal. Backstage, while the crew rushes around and the noise of the arena builds, Shawn retreats into a small bubble of calm with that guitar. Strumming the same chords, humming through the same melodies, he grounds himself. It's a ritual that steadies his nerves and clears his mind, allowing him to block out the pressure and reconnect with the pure joy of creating music. And when he finally steps onto the stage, that ritual is still with him. The rhythm, the stillness, the reminder of who he is beneath the fame. For Shawn, this isn't just a habit, it's a lucky anchor. Playing that guitar moments before a performance helps him carry a sense of authenticity, comfort, and quiet confidence into every show he gives.
Miley Cyrus has a superstition rooted in the stars, literally. She's a firm believer in astrology and, well, she takes cosmic timing seriously when it comes to releasing her music. For her, it's not just about marketing schedules or record label timing, it's about energy, alignment, and intuition. If the astrological charts suggest a day is off, chaotic, or unlucky, she won't drop a single, an album, or even a teaser. To Miley, the universe has rhythms, and her music should enter the world on a day when the cosmos feels open and supportive. Behind the scenes, her team has grown used to this ritual. They know that Mercury retrograde, certain moon phases, or specific planetary alignments can change her plans instantly. Miley might delay a release or shift an announcement simply because the stars don't feel right. It's her way of ensuring that every musical moment begins on a positive, energetic foundation, something she deeply believes influences how her art is received. For Miley, astrology isn't just a quirky belief, it's a compass. In an industry full of unpredictability, the stars give her a sense of control, timing, and harmony. When she does choose a release date, you can bet it's aligned not just with her creative vision, but with the universe itself.
Demi Lovato's superstition is, really tied to her spiritual side. She carries protective crystals with her everywhere she goes. To Demi, these aren't just pretty stones. They're sources of grounding, healing, and emotional balance. Whether she's stepping into a recording studio, getting ready for a performance, or even traveling across the world, she keeps a small collection close by, often tucked into her bag or held in her hands during stressful moments. Each crystal has its own meaning, and she picks them based on the energy she feels she needs that day. Backstage or in between interviews, Demi has been known to quietly center herself by holding one of her crystals, letting the weight and texture remind her, just to breathe. It's a moment of calm in a career that's filled with constant motion. Some crystals, like amethyst or black tourmaline, are her favorites, ones she believes protect her from negativity or help keep her aura steady in overwhelming environments. Over time, this ritual has become as essential to her routine as warming up her voice. For Demi, these crystals symbolize so much more than luck. They represent inner strength, resilience, and a real commitment to staying emotionally grounded. In a world as intense and unpredictable as fame, her crystals give her a sense of protection and peace, a quiet shield she carries wherever her journey takes her. Christina Aguilera has a surprisingly simple superstition. She always chews gum before performing. For her, it's more than just a habit. It's a ritual that tells her voice, body, and nerves that it's showtime. Long before the lights come up or the first note hits, she's backstage with a piece of gum, warming up her jaw, loosening tension, and slipping into the mindset she needs to deliver one of her signature powerhouse performances. It's a tiny ritual with a huge psychological impact, helping her feel prepared and centered. As the minutes tick closer to stepping on stage, the gum becomes her anchor. The familiar rhythm of chewing helps her stay calm, steady her breathing, and block out the noise of backstage chaos. Crew members may rush, dancers may rehearse, and sound checks may echo, but Christina stays in her own bubble, finding focus in the simple, steady motion. It's her way of grounding herself before she unleashes that iconic voice. And when the moment finally comes, she spits out the gum and steps into the spotlight feeling aligned, ready, and lucky. For Christina Aguilera, that tiny piece of gum carries years of routine, confidence, and comfort with it, a superstition that has traveled with her from early fame to global stages, helping her deliver unforgettable performances time after time.
Enjoyed that little dose of celebrity luck? Hit like, share, and subscribe. Your good fortune might just depend on it.
Kendrick Lamar has a quiet but unwavering superstition. He never starts recording on Mondays. For him, the first day of the week carries a kind of unsettled energy. The world is rushing back into motion, schedules are shifting, and the mind is still adjusting from the slower rhythm of the weekend. Kendrick believes that starting something as spiritually heavy as new music on a Monday can throw off the entire creative flow. Instead, he treats Mondays as a day to think, observe, and reset rather than create. During that pause, he often spends time journaling ideas, reflecting on themes, or simply letting inspiration come naturally without pressure. It's his way of easing into the week, making sure he's mentally and emotionally aligned before stepping into the studio. By the time Tuesday arrives, he feels sharper, more focused, and ready to pour everything into the mic with clarity and intention. It's a rhythm that helps protect his creativity from feeling forced. To Kendrick, this ritual isn't just superstition, it's discipline. He approaches music like a deep spiritual process, something that requires the right energy, timing, and headspace. Avoiding Mondays ensures that every session begins with purpose, not chaos, allowing him to craft the thoughtful, layered storytelling that defines his work.
Travis Scott has a superstition that runs through his life, his music, and even his branding. He believes the number 4 is his lucky number. It's a number he associates with balance, creative alignment, and personal strength. Whether he's planning release dates, choosing seat numbers, or making behind-the-scenes decisions, the number 4 often finds its way in. To Travis, it's not coincidence. It's a sign, a guide, something that helps him feel the universe is lining up in his favor. Friends and team members have noticed how often he gravitates toward it. If a meeting falls on the 4th, he sees it as a green light. If a studio session starts at 4 p.m., he considers it a blessing. Even in small day-to-day choices, the number shows up like a quiet companion, something that gives him a sense of control and comfort in an industry built on unpredictability. It's a ritual woven into his thinking, influencing decisions in subtle but meaningful ways. For Travis, believing in the power of 4 isn't about superstition alone, it's about symbolism. It represents stability, grounding, and creative momentum. In a career filled with intensity, pressure, and constant motion, that single number becomes an anchor. It reminds him that every step he takes, especially the ones touched by 4, is part of a bigger path he trusts completely.
So Alicia Keys has this superstition that's beautifully tied to her artistry. She plays the same piano piece before every show. It's, a private ritual, a quiet moment where she reconnects with the instrument that really shaped her entire life. Long before the crowd hears even a single note, Alicia is backstage or maybe in a side room, her fingers just gliding over those familiar keys, letting the melody settle her spirit. The piece isn't chosen for showmanship or anything flashy, it's chosen for grounding. A reminder of the young girl who fell in love with music long before the world was listening. As she plays, the nerves settle, and honestly, the noise of the venue just kind of fades away. The simple, steady rhythm brings her into alignment, helping her find focus, breath, and, emotional clarity. It becomes a bridge between her everyday self and the performer she's about to become, a transition from vulnerability to power. The familiar melody acts almost like a mantra, guiding her into the right headspace to deliver those soulful, heartfelt performances that fans really adore. For Alicia, this ritual isn't really about superstition in the traditional sense. It's about connection. Playing that one piece links her past to her present, her heart to her craft, and her purpose to the moment ahead. It's her way of entering every stage with intention, strength, and, a little bit of magic carried in the music itself.
Kanye West has long believed in the power of symbolism, and one of his most personal superstitions is his commitment to always wearing a gold chain for luck. For him, it's far more than jewelry. It's a shield, a reminder of where he came from, and a marker of the confidence he built long before fame found him. That chain, warm against his chest, gives him a sense of grounding when he steps into rooms full of pressure, expectation, and creative intensity. Before major performances, studio sessions, or high-stakes meetings, Kanye instinctively reaches for it. The weight, the shine, the familiarity, it's all part of the ritual. The chain represents protection and prosperity, a belief that as long as he wears it, the universe will keep him aligned and focused. Even those closest to him have noticed he rarely appears at pivotal moments without it, almost as if removing it would throw off his energy. For Kanye, this isn't just fashion or habit, it's a personal philosophy. The gold chain reminds him of the confidence he had as a young artist, the victories he fought for, and the identity he forged through turbulence and triumph. In his mind, it carries luck, legacy, and a spark of the unshakable belief he built his entire career on.
Pink has a superstition that's as fierce and tender as she is. She keeps one of her daughter's toys with her on tour as a lucky charm. It might be a small stuffed animal, a tiny figurine, or whatever Willow happened to hand her before a flight. But to Pink, it becomes a piece of home she can hold on to. Life on the road can be chaotic, loud, and emotionally draining, and that little toy reminds her of the love and stability waiting for her beyond the stage lights. It's a symbol of grounding, keeping her connected to the part of her life that matters most. Before shows, she'll often glance at it or hold it for a moment, letting the familiar object bring her a sense of calm. That quick pause helps her shift from performer to mother and back again, balancing the intensity of touring with the tenderness of family. It's her way of carrying her daughter's energy with her, even when they're miles apart. The charm becomes part of the ritual, a tiny reminder of purpose before she belts out her biggest hits. For Pink, this isn't simply superstition, it's emotional armor. The toy carries comfort, luck, and a sense of protection that strengthens her before every performance. In a career filled with high wires, pyrotechnics, and powerhouse vocals, that small, sentimental charm keeps her heart steady and her spirit fearless. Think that was strange? Wait till you hear who sleeps with crystals or won't fly on Fridays. Subscribe for more of Hollywood's weirdest lucky habits.